Okay, let's start. One question related to fundamental rights, like Article 14 to 35. It's related to section-based question. Then related to governor, like governor qualification, which section, then other important section related to governor. So it's purely based on some sections based on governor. Okay, not concept based questions. Then sorry, fundamental here, fundamental rights. Then fundamental duties. They asked fundamental duties. They are provided certain fundamental duties. So the question is that we have to arrange them in a chronological order. Chronology, fundamental duties. Okay, that is another question. So that is related to fundamental duties. Then transitional powers. Transitional powers related to state government. Okay, transitional power related to state government, especially some state they have given, but in the option Haryana was there. So Haryana provision related to Haryana is not there in the option. So that was the answer in that question. Then one question is related to Consumer Protection Act. Consumer Protection Act date, the date of that act, like 2019, I guess. That is the answer. Then another question related to authorities, consumer protection authorities. This question a little bit confusing. So we have to like state council, national council related to that question. Okay. Then one question is related to Liberian code. This is international humanitarian law. Okay, Liberian code. They actually asked for, like one of the sections from Liberian code. So that is a difficult question. Then another question is related to Geneva Convention. Geneva Convention was there in like you have to know the date and some of the options. Geneva Convention was there. Okay. Then one question from jurisprudence related to morality. Austin's opinion on morality. Okay, that is from jurisprudence. Then another question. In one question, realism was an option. So all these questions are actually based on memory based. Okay, so some mistakes will be there. So realism was there in one of the option. Then IT Act related to section 65F. So this question you can answer if you know, like punishments, like in IT Act, how many provisions are there with related to punishments? If you know that, you can answer this question IT Act. Okay. Then another question is related to Canada, North American Treaty. Okay, North American with related to North American Treaty. One question based on that. Then US Constitution, Article 123. If you know what is there in Article 123, you can answer this question. It's very straightforward question. Then another simple question was there related to US President versus Indian President. Okay, one general, very basic, straightforward question was there. Then another question related to separation of powers in the USA. This is also a very basic question. If you know the very basic thing, what is like separation of powers in India, USA, you know the answer. You can write the answer. Then one Indian judge who is in International Court of Justice now. Okay, that is one question. Then Anton Pillion order, this question was also there. Then John Day order was there in one of the options. Then IT in IT Act Appellate Authority section. You know the you have to know the section of that Appellate Authority. Okay. Then Biodiversity Act. In the Biodiversity Act, in one of the options, you have to know the penalties of Biodiversity Act. Which section contain penalty? Okay. Then Biodiversity New Amendment Act. Biodiversity New Amendment Act to 2023. The New Amendment Act, you have to know about New Amendment Act. Then trademark, it's purely based on section 9, 10. Then registration. Okay, so some sections related to registration part, like application submission, all this related to. Okay, that is there. Then this is another treaty. Which treaty? Actually, Marrakesh is the answer. It was not provided there. Treaty for visually impaired. That is a question. Okay, so answer is Marrakesh. Then plastic waste management rules. This is not directly asked. It was there in one of the options. I guess, if I'm not wrong. Then Human Rights Human Rights Act. Then section that is also purely based on sections. Okay, so you have to know, you have to study important sections of human rights law. Then National Green Tribunal, this penalties based, which section, if you know the which section contain penalties. Okay, then Status of Stateless Person Act, you have to know the date. If you know the date, you can answer. Then Convention on Refugees, if you know the date, you can answer this question. Okay, then Havana Convention, this is not sure, but I somewhat I vaguely remember that it was there, Havana Convention. Or okay, so anyway, Havana Convention is related to international humanitarian law. This time, so many questions are there from international law and humanitarian law. Okay, then Minorities Act. Okay, one question from Minorities Act. I don't remember exactly the question, but it is there. It was there. Section 3, 5, 12. So you have to know the sections. Then first judgment related to environment protection law in India. Okay, in India, first judgment. Okay, that is there. Then marriage. Fasid marriage. So you have to know what is Fasid under Muslim law. Okay. Then only you can answer this question. Fasid marriage. I think it's related to void marriage. Then Marzul Maut. This is direct question. That is deathbed gift. That you have to know. If you know the conditions of this deathbed gift in sorry, under the Muslim law, you can answer this question. Okay. Then case laws related to restitution of conjugal rights. So this certain case laws was there, like three or four case laws are there. So you have to if you know the landmark cases related to restitution of conjugal rights, you can write this answer. It's not that much difficult. It was not that much difficult. Then dower, it's related to dower, different types of dower in Muslim law, like prompt dower, deferred dower. If you know all this kind of dowers, you can easily answer that question. Then one question is related to Shabano case. Then one question related to resolution of Muslim Marriage Act. Okay, this question they asked to arrange, like there are so many grounds are there, like uh, they don't know about the whereabouts of the husband, desertion, cruelty, all this that, but you have to arrange them in a chronological order. So it is very important that you have to study like in order. Okay, then similar pattern, another question. Hindu Adoption and Maintenance Act, the grounds, so you have to know in order. So chronological based question was so many questions were there based on chronology. Okay, so it is if you know, if you want to improve your score, you have to revise it more. That's what I understood. Then one person company, this is very straightforward, simple question, anybody can answer. One person company. Then NI Act, that's also very basic, section 4, 5, 138. If you know all these basic sections, you can answer that question. Then doctrine of ultra virus, that was there. Like two question was based on this ultra virus, so it is very important. One case law, I think Ashby case they asked. Okay. Then doctrine of indoor management was there. Constructive notice was there in the question. I think these two are was there in one question, I think, I guess. Then void contract. This is also chronological based question. If you know which order the section 25, what is there in section 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. If you know in order, then you can easily answer this question. Okay. So chronology. Then sale by sample. Okay, which section it's related to sale by sample. That's sale of goods. Sale of goods. Sale of goods act. Okay. Then agency, some legal, two legal terms related to legal, q facet per alum facet per c. Then one more term was there related to agency. Okay, if you know the term, if you know the literal meaning of the term, you can easily answer that question. Then NGT chairman appointed by whom? Who will appoint NGT chairman? That question was there. Okay. Then definition of hazardous waste. Okay. If you that which act they asked. Actually, I remember the section F. This section, this hazardous waste was defined. Uh, so I think Environmental Protection Act. Okay, that's that. If you know that hazardous waste was defined under which act, you can easily answer this question. Okay. Then WTO headquarters. So one of the options, if you know that where is WTO headquarters, then you can answer one question. Okay. Then WTO, sorry, send Kyoto Protocol date, Montreal Protocol date, strict liability. If you know what is strict liability, if you know what is absolute liability, you can answer one question. Then remoteness of damage was there. Then damnum sign injury some dino. This was there in a table question, like not table, like matching question. Then IPC punishment order, punishment in order. Then like death, then imprisonment for life, imprisonment suspect, and fine. So if you know in order, what is there, what was the order there in IPC Bear Act? If you know the order, you can easily answer this question. Okay, IPC. Then dacoity preparation attempt sections. This is purely based on like chronological based on question. If you know where, if you can locate what is the preparation for dacoity, like what is the punishment for assembling for the purpose of dacoity, attempting for the purpose of dacoity. Then one section. Then stolen property, which section? If you know which section stolen property is there, then you will be in a better position to answer that question. Okay. Then gang rape, what is the punishment for gang rape? Then kidnapping for ransom, what is the punishment? Then 304B, that is dowry death, that what is the punishment? Okay. Then BNS, this is the only one question asked from BNS. Okay, so the last exam they asked from IPC and from BNS also, but BNS only one question. Okay. Then ICJ principle, on based on what principle ICJ stands? Okay, this is very basic question. Then Yugoslavia Tribunal. Okay, if you know you have to know the date. International Criminal Court of Justice. You have to know the date. Not a bomb case. This is a straightforward question. They asked one question related to nationality, so the answer is not a bomb case. Then sources of international law. So this is the answer that question. They asked what is the social sources of international law. Then UN principles. UN principles like two. Okay. Uh, so when you study this principle and also article 1, you have to study in chronological order, because so many questions, I think majority of the question they asked, like you have to arrange them in a chronological manner. Okay. Then next is another question, article UN article 1 related question was there. Okay. Then Estrada doctrine, one question was there related to Estrada doctrine. Okay, then one question was there related to Geneva Convention. Geneva Convention question. Like you have to know the date of Geneva Convention, and you have to know what is Geneva Convention. First Geneva Convention for what, second Geneva Convention for what, third Geneva, fourth Geneva, all this you have to know. Then additional protocol date you have to know. Then International Criminal Tribunal Rwanda, that was there in the one of the option. Then European Convention on Human Rights, you have to know the date. Then another question is, India signed the Geneva Convention, the date. You have to know the date, which month, which year, exact, in order to answer this particular question. Okay. Then language of ICJ. This is whether they asked language of ICJ or UN. I'm not sure. Okay, I'm not remember exactly they asked, but anyway they asked about the languages. Okay. Then ICCPR, number of sections. How many sections were there? Okay, International Convention on Civil and Political Rights. How many sections are there? That's one question. Then one question related to Watergate scandal. This is, I think, all the WikiLeaks, Pegasus. I think this is paper one. Okay, sorry, I just paper one question. I guess. Okay, WikiLeaks, Bofors scandal. Okay. Anyway, I leave it. So then administrative law, one general question related to administrative action. I think it's based on like jurisprudential aspect they asked. Okay. Then Article 129, Supreme Court. Supreme Court, some important section 129, 134, 131, 124. So if you know all these section, you can easily answer this question. Okay, this is a straightforward question. And certain other articles also there. Then environment, one case law related to pollution, related to giving permission to burn. Okay, actually one famous question they asked, like I think it's from 2022, like Kaushal or like that. I'm not remembering the exact name, but it's related to that. Okay, then next is US president is member of legislative or not. That is a very simple, straightforward. If you know whether the US president is also a member of legislature, you can easily answer. Then secularism, which amendment in our constitution? Secularism has been added in which amendment? Okay. Then DPSP. This is also I'm not sure whether they asked from DPSP or not, but I think one of the options, one or two DPSP was there in one of the options, so you should not miss DPSP. Then legal personality theory, the advocates of who was the advocates of fiction theory. Okay, that was there in one of the option. Then main Kant, Dworkin, Aristotle. So all this authors were, sorry, all this jurist was there in one side, and another side a natural right was there. Then some other options were there, I am not remembering. Only thing I remember is natural right theory was there in one side. Okay, another side main Kant, Dworkin, Aristotle. So all there. Okay. Then another question, jurisprudencia comes from whether Latin, uh, Roman. Okay. Then persona, what is the meaning of persona? Direct question. Then one temporary encumbrance right without possession. Okay, this is very confusing. So without possession. So the options were servitude, security, trust, lease. Okay. So one temporary encumbrance right without possession. That was the question. Then U.S. Constitution, Article 1, Section 8. So I think 3-4 questions are there from US Constitution. So it's very important to study US Constitution. Then US Constitution article. US Constitution Article 5. Article 5 was there. Then book written by John Rawls. This date, so date they also given date. So I am not sure whether this was there as a date. But anyway, John Rawls, a book, they asked about a book written by John Rawls. Then passive euthanasia case, which case? So answer is Aruna. If you know that, you can easily answer. Then contract basic questions. Effect of acceptance. It's very basic question. Okay, very basic. Straight question. Then vicarious liability. One question was there related to vicarious liability. That is also straightforward question. Then necessity. This is also straightforward question. Then infancy. Simple question. And trifles was there. Then interested parties or person interested in which IPR statute. Okay, this question is from one of the IPR statute, whether GI, geographical or trademark. Which of the IPR statute has been provided this particular word? Person interested or interested parties. Okay, so I'm not remembering exactly what was the wording. Anyway, this is person interested or interested person. Okay. Then trademark, some sections they asked. If you know the sections of trademark, you can easily answer that question. Then WTO, World Trade Organization, last round of negotiation. Which place? Which place? Okay. Then LLP, one question, section based. This is also I'm not sure about that. Okay. Then hazardous waste management rules 2000 is one of the options. This was there. Okay. This is all this. These are all I remember. Okay.